So I started my firm in late 2013, early 2014, and it's been virtual ever since. Before that, I was working at a firm, and my dear boss, who has since passed, ran a law firm that did not believe in email. We had one email account for the entire office, and he would, an email would come in, and then he'd print out 6 copies, and the IT person would walk each copy of the email to each attorney in the office. And he also did not believe in voicemail. I mean, we had to take handwritten notes for any call that came in and phone numbers. And so coming from that environment to running a fully virtual law firm has a lot's changed since then. So today I have 5 full-time attorneys, 1 part-time attorney, 2 paralegals, 1 receptionist, and all of my attorneys have 12 to 20 years of experience. My paralegals both have 30 years of experience, and my receptionist used to be a DJ on the radio. So we're a pretty good firm, but we have 2 offices, one in Irvine, that's a virtual office through Premier Business Centers, and then we have 1 office in Pasadena, which is like 1 office where we all share the actual office space. And then we have, but our receptionist is in Eureka. I have one of my paralegals in Colorado. One of my paralegals is in Eureka as well. They're a married couple, husband and wife. And then I have an attorney who I've known for a very long time. She decided to move to Pennsylvania. So she's working out of Pennsylvania with a full litigation caseload. So it can certainly be done. And we practice employment defense, where we protect and defend business owners only. Do you want some more background, or are you good?
Give a little bit more.
So I knew early on I was going to be a lawyer, and my parents ran a company in the 80s, and it was called Gap Printing. G was for Glenn, my dad's name, A was for Angie, my mom's name, and P was for printing. And as a kid, I got to go in and see what it was like to run a business, see what it was like to have employees, and throughout the years, all these employment issues really, really tore my parents apart. They were in litigation, and they ended in bankruptcy and divorce. But I knew very early on I wanted to be an attorney to help protect and defend small and medium-sized business owners. So in high school, I got a job at an employment law firm. I ended up being there 8 years through the rest of high school, college, and law school. Got out, worked for a couple different firms, and then started my own practice 6 years ago. And from that original firm I worked at in high school, I ended up hiring 8 people from that firm to come work with me. So I've known a lot of my staff for a long period of time. That's it.
Having that trust, having those relationships certainly help in establishing a virtual firm and its culture. In the article handout, I mentioned Fisher Broyles, and that's a firm of all partners, and there's 235 partners with 21 locations. And the locations are, again, executive suite type places that people can go hang their hat in and meet with a client. Another firm, so that's sort of an extreme, that's about the biggest virtual firm I know about. And then an interesting hybrid, there's a firm called My Virtual Lawyer. And they have approximately 8 attorneys, and they do limited scope services in specific practice areas. And what is interesting is they have invested in the infrastructure for technology, for billing, for policies, procedures, just kind of turnkey. So they are now franchising this model to lawyers in other states to set up their own virtual law firm franchise. And I thought that was a really interesting approach. So she's got other people working with her, but they're not employed by her law firm. So with people spread out all over the place, how does your firm handle legal and administrative workflow? The people, the systems, the software?
So one of the things we use, and it's not my favorite, to be honest, but it's Grasshopper for our phone calls. There might be something better out there at this point, but we've been with Grasshopper for a couple of years. And so basically a call comes in, it goes to Eureka, and then it gets transferred to either, where I am in Pasadena, where one of my attorneys is in LA, San Diego, or all the way to Pennsylvania or Colorado, wherever. So that software makes it a lot easier to handle phone calls. We also use Zoom, and Zoom is, an interactive face-to-face conference call line, basically. And we implemented that internally for our own weekly meetings. I'll get into that a little bit later, I think, but we do an interactive 1.5 hour meeting every Thursday afternoon, and it's everyone in the office. And I just recently this year changed it to Zoom so we can all see each other's faces. So we can go a long time without actually seeing each other's faces. So it's been nice working out that way. We also use a couple other things. Clio is our attorney practice management software. You can bring it up on your phone. We use Box, and Box is for documents. Box is HIPAA compliant, so we feel that it's a very secure thing to be able to use for your document management system, and it also syncs with Clio. So at any point in time, I can bring up a document from my phone, and it makes life so much easier. We also use eFax, which is, just a convenient way to give and send faxes. Evernote is another product we use just for taking pictures of business cards, and it automatically links you with that person in LinkedIn, which is convenient. And it also keeps that person's contact information, a picture of the card, and then you can just throw the card away or even give it back to the person. I've seen people do that. Another thing we use is Bamboo HR, which allows you to keep track of all of your employee files and request time off and things like that. It will tell you when an employee is having an anniversary with your firm or when an employee is having a birthday. So that's been really good. My new favorite app, though, recently is TurboScan. You take a picture of it using the app on your phone, and it turns it into a PDF automatically, and it looks good. So you can avoid, when people are trying to send you JPEG pictures of things and having to convert them into a PDF. TurboScan is amazing, and it's $5. Well worth it. We also use Uber Conference Call, which is a pretty cool thing as well. So if you have a meeting with a client, it will automatically call both of you at the same time. So one person's not waiting for the other, which I find valuable. Do you want me to go on? I have more notes on that specific question.
Yeah, because I think the tools are really an important part of trying to make virtual work
easier, right? It's we also... we created our own SOP, standard operating procedure, handbooks, so that every time, we hire a new person, either an attorney or a paralegal or even our receptionist, we have a standard operating procedure, which is our handbook that we wrote from scratch when somebody was training somebody else on this is how we label documents, this is how we do a memo to the file, this is how we take a phone call, and that way everyone's on the same page and we can find stuff the same way.